Everything that you think you know about parenting goes right out the window the minute those adolescent hormones hit your child's brain. I'm here to share with you some of the hard fought lessons that I have learned as a result of parenting my now teenagers. And I just want to share with you that I really thought that I had cracked the parenting code. I really thought that because I had such a close relationship with my kids when they were small, I had this parenting philosophy. It was based on attachment parenting. And I really, the way I raised my kids was I I really wanted them to develop their self because of my philosophical background. I really felt like them learning their brain, learning to think with their brains and develop their soul was like, those were the two top values that I had in my home. And so for my children, I created an environment where they were constantly engaging with the world. They were constantly creating and engaging and learning and experiencing and developing themselves and learning how to like exist in the world. So I really thought that I had insulated myself against the rebellion of adolescence. I knew that there was going to be a natural, like, pulling away, that this was a natural part of their development. But I was really shocked when just how just violent and sudden it was. I was not prepared. I was extremely naive. So, the two parenting paradigms that I see with teenagers is there is, right, these are very well known, the permissive style parent, and then there is the tough love style parent, the authoritarian slash tough love. And I don't think either one of those really work for teenagers. I actually think this philosophy of detachment parenting is the key to not go crazy even when your teenagers are going crazy. So when my daughter turned 13, my presence started to disturb her. She felt that my presence was a violation of her privacy. And, looking back on it, I understand why. I know what my daughter is thinking. I know what my daughter is feeling. I know if she's having a bad day. So my presence does, in fact, violate her privacy. It does, in fact, intrude, especially during a time when she needs to pull away. So if you've ever had a day ruined by an eye roll, a bad attitude at dinner, you're just trying to be helpful, like that was my attitude at coming into raising these adolescents was I wanted to just help them as a person who'd been on the planet for 32 and 34 years longer than them. I just wanted to kind of guide them. I'm not about like punishment, very much. I value dialogue and dialectic and using reason and logic to wrestle with problems and conflicts and coming up with a resolution. So that was sort of how I handled conflict or, disputes in the home. And that all worked great until my daughter was about 13. And then, like I said, there was this violent rupture in our relationship. And it took me a long time, but I finally realized that I had two choices. One, I could make it worse by asking her what was wrong or inviting her into a conversation with me or trying to like get at the root of the problem. That always made it worse because what she really wanted was privacy. Or I could accept what was going on. And then once I accepted it, which means I did not try to change it. Once I accepted the reality that my daughter did not want me around, I then had two more choices. One, I could be upset about it and distraught and cry, and I did that many times. Or I could move on and live my life. And that's what detachment and not worry about it. And that's what detachment parenting has taught me. It has taught me that this isn't cold, it's not punishing, it doesn't mean I don't love her. It just means I'm giving her the dignity of her own experience, the responsibility of her own well-being. And if she's having a problem, it's up to her whether she wants to come to me or not. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to fix it or solve it or change it. This is an extension of, I wanted to raise autonomous human beings, and I wanted my children to know their own minds. So this means I have to trust that they are, in fact, going to know their own minds. And this is an expression of their autonomy. So what detachment parenting looks like is if my daughter's making a decision that I don't like or that I disagree with, instead of trying to convince her, argue with her, beg her, threaten her, all of the things that are instinctual, especially as a mother, I pause and I say something to her like, Um, while that's not the decision that I would make, it's your decision to make, and I support you. I support you in knowing what is best for you. And I would not say this if she were 8, or maybe I would, depends on the situation. But because my daughter is almost 17, like, she does need to learn, about the world and about natural consequences through making mistakes, making decisions. And so detachment is not being attached to an outcome, an attitude, a behavior. And detaching not only means not worrying about it or focusing on it or trying to fix it or change it, but it also means focusing on myself. Like, what's going on with me that I'm so distraught? What's going on with me that I'm so afraid? It's usually fear. I'm afraid of the unknown. I'm afraid of the future. I'm afraid she's going to make a mistake. I'm afraid that something, unknown, usually. And so taking a look, being responsible for my own reaction to my children when they're exhibiting a behavior or whatever that I don't like, that is my work. Instead of trying to fix or change or solve their problem, their attitude, whatever it is, that's their work. I may not want to be around them, right? I may not want to give rides every day to somebody that's treating me poorly or doesn't want to be around me. I might still want to give those rides. I may not. Depends. There's no hard and fast rule. But it's my children's job to figure out what's going on with them and to figure out tools to cope with life. And I'm one of those tools if they want to use me. It's pretty obvious. Most days they don't. Sometimes they do, though. They do surprise me, and sometimes they do want to use me. So once I have accepted that I cannot change, fix, beg, cry, I have to explore my own reactions, my own fears, my own feelings. Like, what is going on with me that I'm letting my child who's rolling her eyes at me hurt my feelings? Like, that's not actually possible. I'm taking it personally, and it's usually because I'm afraid or I have something else going on, and that's my job. And one of the things, I'll just end with this, one of the principles of detachment parenting is attending to your own self. As mothers, we attend to everybody else, especially our children. We attend to our children's needs constantly, especially as attachment moms. But all moms, whatever your parenting paradigm is. And detachment parenting is about letting go of attending to only your children and attending to your own self, especially when your children they're not available. You can't attend to them. So hopefully you find this helpful. I'm going to do a whole series on how this works. So thanks for being here.